Hello, church. I'd like to invite you to come and worship with us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. You are invited. If you can't join us in person, you can join us live on Facebook at 10 a.m. every Sunday morning. And if that doesn't work, it'll be posted on Facebook and YouTube for you to watch at your convenience for about 30 days. So come and join us if you can. If you'd like to give to support the ministries of New Hope Alliance Church, you can do so by sending a check to New Hope Alliance Church at 229 Pittsburgh Street, Scottsdale, Pennsylvania, 15683. Or you can go onto our webpage, which is newhopecma.net, click on online giving, and you can give very safely and securely that way. We just got back from Mexico, so last 2 weeks we haven't done devotional, but it was a great trip, and we'll be doing a service in the church the last Sunday in June. I think it's the 29th, about that trip, and sharing photos and stories about how God was working there in Mexico. Okay, well, this Sunday is Mother's Day, May the 11th, and we want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. And because of that, we're going to step aside from our series on the great teachings and miracles of Jesus Christ, and we're going to talk about Mother's Day. And I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a tribute to my mother, but really it's a tribute to all mothers. And so just doing it in the context of writing a letter to my mother. So happy Mother's Day. Can you imagine what your life would have been like without your mom? In the case of those who grew up without your mom, then think of the one who was the nurturer in your life. Our moms have influenced our lives more than we can ever know. Proverbs 31 gives us a picture of a perfect, virtuous woman. It's a picture of no woman in a fallen world can ever live up to. But within this passage are some principles that I believe you'll be able to identify as part of your mom. As we look at this passage, I want to offer up some thoughts as a tribute to all of our moms. So let me read Proverbs 31, verses 10 through 31. A wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it's still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies the merchants with sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive, and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. This is a tribute to all of our mothers, but I'm going to present it as if I was writing a letter to my own mom. Mom, I remember how you loved horses and talked of them being a noble creature. I didn't get that love for horses from you. Where you saw nobleness, I saw creatures that bite and kick. You saw a beautiful creature that made your heart soar, but I only saw an animal that ate a lot but didn't pull its own weight. Mom, some people look at others and all they see is their faults and miss the nobleness that is there. Mom, I want you to know that while I don't see the nobleness in horses, I did see it in you. All your faults were blurred away by the brilliance of all the good that you did for your 9 children. I cannot recall one moment when you didn't put the welfare of your children and family above the needs of your own life. Some of my fondest memories is smelling and tasting all the marvelous food you prepared for us. I must have been at least 8 or 10 years old before I even knew you could buy store-bought bread. Your warm bread fresh from the oven with butter melting into it has to have been one of the most marvelous tastes to ever have touched my tongue. Your cherry pies were to die for. I could have started eating your cherry pie and never stopped until I exploded and ended up in glory. We never had much, but what you did with the little we had were meals kings would have envied to have on their dinner tables. When Dad got silicosis and started spitting up blood, it took years for him to get his disability, and we lost all our income. You got a job at a shoe factory. I remember you coming home happy that you made $8 that day. You worked for piecework and made pennies for each piece of leather you pushed through a dangerous sewing machine that eventually gave you carpal tunnel syndrome. At the end of the week, you took your paycheck of $56, if it was a good week, and went to Parks' store in Three Springs and bought groceries to feed your family. Parks' store had 3 aisles, each about half as long as one in Walmart, and yet you got all that you needed with your few dollars in that tiny store. And I remember we always got a treat as well, because you spend a little extra to buy us Tang, because you wanted us to have a treat and secretly wanted to get some vitamin C into your family. I remember the couch you bought. You went into the furniture store in Mount Union every week after work and paid a few dollars on it. It took months, but you paid it off. And I remember when they delivered it, the only new couch you, our family, ever owned. I'm not sure when you slept. You were always up, always the first one up, and I never saw you go to bed. To the best of my ability to guess, I think you managed on less than 4 hours of sleep per night. The old limerick, "A man works from sun to sun, but a woman's work is never done," must have been written about you, Mom. We lived in an old, drafty farmhouse, but I never remember being cold. We had beds, shared beds, but we still slept on clean sheets, had pillows, and lots of warm, heavy, homemade quilts. I recall the weight of them forming around our bodies as they warmed us for a good night's sleep. You are not a seamstress, and I'm not aware of a single piece of clothing you ever made for us from scratch. But our clothes were clean and mended. We may have been the poorest family, but we were never the least best dressed. I remember sitting on your lap as you read to me my favorite book for the 1,000th time, The Little Engine That Could. With that book, you taught me that I could do anything if I put my mind and heart to it. Your own self-esteem was low, but you built within your children an esteem that said, you can do it. You were determined that your children would read, teaching us that reading opened up a whole new world to us. You'd take of what little money you had and buy me comic books, just so I'd read. I also remember you reading to me from the first Bible storybook, which that you built into me a love with a respect for God. You took us to church every Sunday. The preacher came only every other week, but you had us there every Sunday, more often than the preacher, where we'd be in our Sunday school's class learning about God. You taught us compassion and mercy by the way you treated others. And with what little we had, you never turned away someone in need. You taught us to be gentlemen and ladies, to have manners, to push our chair in when we got up from the table, to always walk on the street side of the sidewalk when walking with a girl or a woman, to carry a lady's packages for her, to open the door for a woman and let her pass through first. You taught us laughter. You didn't understand slapstick comedy, saying that a person might have been hurt. But when you read a good, humorous story in your hand-me-down Reader's Digest, you'd share it and then laugh again with us. Saturday nights were family nights. We'd turn on the TV minutes ahead of time because it had to warm up, then tune in to one of the 2 snowy stations we could get from our antenna. And we watched Gunsmoke while we ate ice cream, potato chips, and drank pop, one of our big treats of the week. I remember when you learned to drive a car. You were in your late 50s, but you did it. You got your driver's license and later bought your own car for around $100. Mom, we didn't have much, but with the little we had, you gave us a life I'd not trade for anyone else's. We were poor, but we never knew it. And it was because you, Mom, were a Proverbs 31 woman. I remember, Mom, that day I asked you what you thought about having Vera as your daughter-in-law. You reply, doesn't matter what I think. I think you love Vera more than me, if that's possible. Well, Mom, Vera is the mother of my 3 children and grandmother to our marvelous grandchildren. 8 of them now. Mom, you'd be so proud of me for the wisdom I had in the choice for my wife. By the way, Mom, she's just like you. She's a Proverbs 31 woman too. Thank you, Mom, for all that you sacrificed for us, and thank you, Vera, for doing the same. And thank you, Jesus, for both my mom and the mother of my children. And thank you for the godly mothers of our church and our community. I trust you could say similar things to your mom. If not, don't despair. Perhaps a grandmother or there was another special lady who invested into your life that God gave you in place of a biological mother that was not there or was not the best. And above all, God had provided for you the most loving care you could ever hope for. So give thanks for God, for His provision for you, however it may have been. Happy Mother's Day. God bless you.